You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's 24 Live Another Day After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's 24 Live Another Day After Show.
Tornadoes.
And hello and welcome to another episode of 24 Live Another Day. I was waiting for the special. There it is. There it is. Something that we heard a little too much this episode. I'm surprised about this. We'll talk about that in a second. But first of all, let me introduce our panel of hosts that are with me. First of all, right next to me is...
Hey guys, I'm Chloe O'Brien.
otherwise known as Jeffrey Masters.
You went with less eye makeup tonight, Chloe.
You stole my joke.
You were too slow with your joke.
I was too slow.
You can call me Jeff.
You can call me Jeff. And then,
My name's Chloe, but you can call me Jeff.
and then across from him is Mr.
Is Mrs. Ladies first.
Well, I want to actually give her a big intro at
fine.
the
Well,
end.
let's
Let him
about-
give me the big intro.
Fine, I'm Danny, but let's go for this intro. I'm
Let's go.
excited.
No,
about
I
it.
mean, on a return.
Do it, Nando.
On a
Drum roll,
return.
please.
People thought she was dead. People thought that we killed her
No,
off.
we didn't give her a silent count. It was
We didn't give her a silent countdown. It was a fake death, but she has
she's back.
returned from the East Coast.
I am. I'm back. I'm so happy to be here,
And
guys.
Roxy Striar,
I
everybody.
wish we were as happy that you were back as you are to be here.
Roxy
I
Striar.
wish you guys were too.
I'm just kidding. See, guys, we love her. We
No,
tease her
we
to
love
her
her.
face, behind her back.
Yes,
And
all
I love
over.
you guys. And watching the show without you isn't the same. So I'm really happy to be back.
I'm
Did
glad.
you actually watch both episodes?
No, I just thought I would skip them. You know.
She did the
Man,
Cliff Notes
nothing
version.
happened.
Being busy up in Boston.
Nothing happened.
The fact that you would ask me that makes me know that you don't know me at all.
I obviously don't if you're going to wear shirts like that on our show.
USA!
I'm just kidding. She's all for the
USA.
USA Pride.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's in World Cup mode. USA beat Ghana today, so she's all happy about that.
Nothing
let's
against Ghana.
And we're a Ghana beat Portugal.
We're gonna. You know, before we go on, let me just put this out of the way really quick.
here all
Not that
week.
it's worth putting away really quick because this is a really awesome book. It hit the New York Times bestseller list, and it's from our boss,
Yeah, it did.
our founder, Maria Menounos. It's the Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, and I believe it topped out at #3 in the New York Times bestseller list. I believe.
Yeah, I thought it was 4.
I
Might
know
have
it
been
got to
3.
4.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it's amazing. If you look
It's
at her
on
abs
the
on the
list.
cover, you
on the
freak
list.
out.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to our very own engineer, Stephen Lemieux, who took a lot of the photos in the book. The photos are incredible. The recipes in there are amazing.
Yeah.
She's just like a goddess herself. So.
Yes, and she's now a
Goddess.
two-time.
I mean, come on.
And Maria does it all. She's a TV host, she's a
Two-time New York Times
wrestler,
bestseller.
and now a 2 times New York Times bestseller.
Incredible.
So awesome. You can get this at all finer bookstores or on Amazon.com.
Love you, Maria.
And of course, when you buy this, you're also supporting AfterBuzz. So please keep that in mind as this helps keep the lights on.
I mean, she's no Jack Bauer.
yeah. Well, she
It's
probably could
toss-up.
be. You know what? If she put her mind to it, I bet you she'd be a badass Jack Bauer.
She
She
owns
could
less
be.
guns.
She could be Kate.
She could be
could be
Kate.
Kate.
She could kill Kate.
Yeah.
She could kick Kate's ass. She
Wow.
could.
I think she
Not
could.
that we
That's
don't
how-
love Kate, but
No, but that's how powerful Maria is. So,
That's a
incredibly
good debate,
powerful.
actually.
That
I think
is.
Maria could kick Kate's.
Maria or Kate?
Maria. All
I
day
say
long.
Maria.
it's only because
Hands down, Maria.
Hands down,
That's
Maria.
not even a question for
Yeah.
me.
she like breaks her bones and her ribs and her toes, and she just keeps on walking.
Yeah.
Maria?
Yeah, seriously. Like,
Totally.
She just feels no pain.
Guys,
so.
let us know what you think. Maria Menounos or Kate?
Yes.
Kate's
Kate have a lot- yeah.
I mean, she wrestled out
Check
here
out these
for us.
abs. Come on, Kate hasn't
But
shown her
like-
abs yet. Look at these abs. It's
Remember
crazy.
that? Remember that one scene when I said the only thing that would have made it better was Kate getting out of those chains in her bra?
Yeah.
I wasn't here for
Right
that.
there.
Let me go. Yvonne Strahovski's pretty damn hot too, but I'd
She
still
is,
say
but
I'd still say Maria over
Menounos
Kate
all
Yes.
day long.
And
Absolutely.
moving on, I feel like, team.
Let's move on because I really look. We got to talk about this finale first of all because it was pretty damn
Finale?
wide. No, well, the
Of the
final
episode.
seconds
Oh,
of
gotcha.
this episode
finale
because
of this episode.
the finale of this episode. I feel like I was going to use it a little more like French because it was like such a freaking powerful episode. Is the president dead? Is he dead?
Paul, let's take
That
a
is
poll.
the question.
Roxy.
No.
Okay.
I think not. I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead. Okay.
I do.
Okay, 1 against 2, and I feel like he's dead based on the previews, but
Wait,
we got to
that
talk.
side of the table thinks he's dead.
Well, no, wait, hold on a second. But that silent countdown that did not happen. So anyone who watches 24, and we already know because Danny's a longtime friend who he plays his 24 game with, Johnny, who's going to be
Here
calling him
comes
up late.
Johnny.
Johnny will be
Okay,
calling.
I'm sorry. I for bad memories. Can you remind me what the silent countdown was?
What happens is when a major character usually dies, it's happened a few times in 24 in
Right.
past seasons. It usually happens at the end of an episode, a major death happens. We see the clock always tick off the episode, but when a major character dies, we just see the clock.
There's no
But we
dun,
don't hear the noise that we
dun,
opened up with
dun,
if we can play the
dun.
noise. If we can play the
it's
24 clock.
Okay, has that device been like used in this season though as well?
Because no one major has died in this season worth putting the silent countdown.
Right.
It's something
only
like
for major characters that are more heroes than villains. Not villains.
Okay.
not villains.
It's heroes.
It's for heroes. It's like out of respect.
that-
There we go. So that's the sound that you should not be
Which
hearing
closes out a show.
when
Have
somebody
we had
big
no
dies.
big deaths yet?
It's not even just big deaths, it's hero deaths.
Hero deaths.
So
Hero deaths.
when somebody, and especially in this situation, when a president
I feel
goes
like
out as
Naveed was a
heroic-
hero, kind of.
He wasn't a
Yaz's
hero.
mom.
He was just-
Every
he
mom's
was-
a hero. Yaz's mom, Jasmine.
Naveed did not have a major,
Yeah.
and in
We-
fact, on the phone because he wants to talk about this as well, is Danny's friend Johnny Weasel.
Johnny Weasel.
Right, Johnny, you there? Hello.
Johnny.
Hi, this is John.
Hey,
Yeah.
Johnny.
Yeah.
You want to talk to him? He doesn't know who I am, so.
John Weasel, this is Danny Hoyt. How are you, buddy?
What's up, Dan? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Let's start off right off the bat. Do you think President Heller is dead?
I'm kind of torn. I think I could go either way. Watching that episode, the first thing I said, even before it showed the clock, was "Here comes the silent count." I even said it out loud. And when it didn't happen, my first thought was either they don't like this president or he's not really dead. And
just
so
don't
I'm
like
kind
him.
of torn. I could go either way.
Yeah, I feel like it's a sign of disrespect to not give the president of the United if he is really dead.
Which is
a
why he's
silent
not
countdown.
dead. Absolutely not. I mean, we know they like him. They liked him enough to bring him back for this season. He is supposed to be a protagonist of this show.
Right. So, John, here's my question. If the president
Yeah.
is not dead, did Jack and him have some crazy conversation inside the helicopter where they schemed up some plan to, he's going to walk out, but it's not him, or they have somebody else in on it? What happened? Why would he not be dead, and why? And where is he?
I don't know. The question is, if that wasn't him, then who was it? And if they pulled some like Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise put the face on of the other guy, and it was some random dude.
Could it
Who's
be
the
the
random dude
I
that
just-
took his place?
Could it be the random guy who was standing there concerned right before the helicopter took off?
I
Who
feel
was-
sorry for some random guy who
No.
got killed by a drone, though. I
No.
think that wouldn't
They
happen.
did the facial recognition,
Yes.
though. It was him.
Yeah.
There was nobody else in the place. Okay. It's absolute. I'm sorry, Nando. I got to go with the crazy theory for a minute.
Yeah, I know you do. Go for
Okay.
it. Go for
So
it.
he's-
People are expecting this from you.
Right. He's alive. He's absolutely
Okay.
alive. And we know that because they didn't do the silent clock countdown.
Okay,
So now
how
we
did
have
he
to know
survive?
how he survived. So either Chloe got somehow we're missing a conversation.
Stay with us here for a second, John.
Yeah, sorry. I have these crazy
She
theories.
goes on
as well.
tangents.
So we're missing a conversation. Either Chloe has figured out enough that she somehow hacked into the system, couldn't stop it, but was able to do something with either the facial recognition or the timing of it all, showing that he was there, then he actually left freeze frame, something like that. Or there's something weird about the glasses. He takes the glasses off his face, he puts them inside him, and they gusto pack him away. Or
That's a really good point.
What's the point?
don't
John, what do you think
They
about
took
that?
his glasses off?
Nando.
Well, Johnny, what do you think?
First of all, Roxy, I think that theory is awesome and hilarious both at the same time.
I appreciate you. I do.
I would like it. I would like it if it was Patrick Swayze, like from Point Break, where he had a president mask on, and he just was standing out there at the 50-yard line.
Valid.
I guess it wasn't the 50-yard line because it's a soccer field, so at the middle of the pitch.
At the pitch.
as
Fitting,
Yeah.
clever
Margot
of the 24 producers to use a soccer pitch on the day or on the time frame that the World Cup's going
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
That was
I-
smart.
That is pretty smart.
Okay, one more question, Johnny.
Hashtag Go Team USA. Buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Why did they leave the lights on in the stadium?
Well, that's something I think that I've seen it when you drive by. If you ever
Hell
drive
no!
by,
Conserve that energy.
it's the Brits. They don't care.
Oh my god, global warming. Are you kidding me?
They can afford it.
That was the most unbelievable part of this episode to me.
That they left the lights on?
Yes.
All right, John. Do you have any other thoughts from tonight's episode? Anything else you want us to make sure we cover in this episode tonight?
I just want to ask you guys, watching this season and watching the character of Adrian Cross, I can't decide if I dislike him more as Adrian Cross or if I dislike him more as the Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. I just wanted to get your guys' take on it.
Well, we don't know enough about him right now. I can't even tell what he's playing, so I'm going to say I like him more now.
I think he's kind of whiny. A little whiny this season. You know, obviously he seems to be pining for Chloe a little bit, and he seems to be a little. I don't hate him, but I just think he's a little bit of a pain in the neck.
No, I like him a lot less now. We don't have enough information to like let him be this like much of a pussy.
Interesting. John, thanks for calling in, man. We really appreciate
Johnny,
you.
One last question, actually. For the 24 game, who would win all the time? You or Danny? Who's the big winner? Be honest.
I think the overall tally was something like 27-26, and I was winning.
Oh, there we
Damn
go.
right you are.
You know, I'm not gonna
champion there.
refute him on that because when we started playing the game, he got it first before I did. So I think he was always one leg up on me on those.
I don't want to stroke your ego, but you're really good at it.
Thanks,
Not
Jeff
tonight,
Masters.
but
Tonight you were kind of off, though.
I like Johnny better than all of you guys, to be honest.
I will hold on. No,
Wait,
I'm sorry
Johnny.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
But tonight's episode was crazy.
Yes, it
because
was.
Normally there's a little there's a little bit of a pattern to it. And if you count the first one, then you can kind of get in the ballpark for the upcoming one.
Yeah.
But tonight's episode, like, there was one commercial break where I was like 2 minutes and 30 seconds off. Like, how did that
the middle
even
one.
John, I'm going to have Roxy verify this. I wrote in my notes in the middle, right halfway through the episode, there was a 6 minute and 31 second pause. It was the longest commercial of the season.
Oh, aren't you guys cute?
Actually, you know what? It was so off. I think Roxy won for the night. She got the closest like 3 or 4 times.
And you know that means that it's really
It's
bad
gotta
because
be
I'm real
crazy.
bad at the game.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
If it was really off, then I would have won because I've been the worst one at this game. Even worse than you.
Johnny Weasel, Johnny Bananas, thank you for calling in, man. We appreciate you listening and calling into the show.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one.
All right,
Team
thanks,
Johnny.
Johnny.
God bless.
Yeah. So okay. So I will say this one
USA.
last thing. If the producers decided to keep the keep the audible countdown on and Heller's dead, then I really think somebody screwed up producing wise.
And there's no way that happened.
Because I really feel like Heller deserved a silent countdown.
I mean, it just the 4 of us here and my one friend John who texted
I'm
me.
sure he's not the only one.
3 of us noticed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if 60% of the people in this small group tonight noticed it, imagine how many fans would. So if they messed up, they royally messed up.
They royally messed
There's no
up.
way I would get through all of those
Right.
steps.
No, I absolutely agree. So
I mean,
don't
if
think he's
this
dead.
was, if this was any other, if this was any other major character, I'm trying to think of past characters off the top of my head. Did President Palmer? I think President Palmer got a silent countdown.
Oh, absolutely.
But he
silent
wasn't
count.
at the end of an episode. Was he at the end of an episode? I'm trying to remember now.
We'll go back. And
we'll go
do some-
back.
yeah.
I got to catch up on
Because
that.
he was sniped
Yeah, he was sniped
through the window.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I originally thought he was
He
definitely
wasn't in
dead.
good hands with his insurance.
Okay, when we see
Get
next...
it? Allstate.
But I will say this. I like
Nobody?
What's that?
I know, because he does the commercials.
Oh,
I was with
Allstate.
you.
Got
no,
it.
but if he was definitely dead, in the previews for next week, we wouldn't have seen Ian
So
and
many
Margot.
people say it.
No, we wouldn't have seen so many people say it, but we wouldn't have seen Ian and Margot still attacking with the drones because Margot was so hell-bent on destroying the drones that... She must find out that President Heller's still alive.
No, I don't think she cares about what her reputation as a terrorist is.
She walked away. Plus,
I
she
don't think
walked
she
away.
cares on keeping her word.
I don't give a damn about that
Here's my thing.
reputation.
I think that that they came up with a scheme in the here it is. They came up with a scheme in the helicopter, Jack and Heller.
And Chloe. No?
Yeah, I think Chloe could be involved because they're going to have another person that they trust. And Mark, and here's my. I'm going to jump early. I'm just going to give you my prediction, but I think Mark's in on this, and that's why when he looked at her and he said, "I would do it again in a heartbeat," because he knows even more that she's not going to be mad at him, that it's all going to be okay. They're going to let it play out for an episode or 2, and it's going to somehow come back towards the end of the season.
I'm with you totally. Oh, go ahead.
No, please go.
I'm with you totally, other than the fact that Mark knows. I don't think Mark knows, and that's why I think that at the end of the day, she's going to be able to look at Jack and be okay with him, but not be okay with Mark.
Well, I do feel that it's possible that Chloe, if she hacks into the system, can either like freeze frame the video
and
or...
I think her
You believe one of my theories to be right?
Yeah, I actually believe
think
that's possible. I believe it's
don't
possible.
think that's that far-fetched.
I don't think
And
it's
I think think that her cue to freeze frame it was after he takes his glasses off, and then he knows at that moment that she's got it frozen, and he can walk off the field.
The glasses.
That was her cue.
Well,
it's going to be physical.
It's going to be interesting. The other thing, though, that I think that's important about Heller, though, I feel that they've pretty much. The way they've written Heller, at least this episode, they've pretty much written him off as a lame duck anyway. He said it himself. He said it to Jack. He said in a year he's not going to be able to recognize anyone's faces.
That was
that was really hard. And he did give his resignation apparently because he knows he's not going to be capable of doing
it.
So
I
feel like
there on the couch and was getting emotional
and had that tender moment with Audrey, that tender scene with Audrey. So I do feel at the same time that I don't know if there's much more reason to have Heller around.
I think that everything though was to like make us believe that. And so it's like this much more surprising when he pops out and was like, JK, LOL, I was at the Gap, you know?
JK, I was at.
He comes
did they
back
have
to
the Gap in England?
It's just Gap. Yeah, awesome.
Did they have the Gap?
Because like we said,
No,
though,
he'd
there
be
was
in London,
no
so it'd be a shirt that says "Mind the Gap."
There you go.
Come on, that was a good one.
Give me a chance to react. Give me a chance to react. It was good. I will say this: when he walked out on Wembley, he kind of looked to me like a Tommy Lasorda kind of character walking on a baseball field. It kind of had that little
it
like.
did have that look, that
like
feel.
He could be a coach, you know, type of thing.
Or like the big game is tomorrow night, and it's the
Yeah.
night before the big match.
You could take those clips.
Taking it all
you could take those clips and put them in a sports movie. Interject it, and then also that CGI. That's the only other thing. The CGI, the explosion at Wembley, I thought was pretty awful.
It
John
didn't
mentioned-
bother me. It was 2 seconds long.
That's why.
Well,
That's
we
the problem.
saw it again.
It was
and-
only
and-
not even.
It's like my sex life.
It was like 0.5 seconds. And here's the thing: the CGI from last week, and John pointed this out. He texted to me when the drone
Acknowledge
missile.
that.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the sex life.
that's just
Oh,
Twitter poll: who's funnier, Danny
Weird and
Hoyt or Jeff
awkward.
Masters one?
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to analyze 24. When the missile hit last week, I just threw this like the missile. When the missile hit last week, the CGI was terrible too, and it hit the car behind them as they drove away.
Why do you think that is? Why
Because
do you
it's
think?
I don't
part
know
of the
if it's-
budget. They probably have so many explosions that like we can only spend so much money on each one.
I mean, why spend a ton of money on 2 seconds of footage?
I just am curious how you guys feel like this season is comparing to the other season. Just for a quick question, because I'm talking to
I
people.
can't say it has to pull me through all the emotional parts, and right
Okay.
now it's only gone like this a couple
Well,
times.
I will say that I loved last week's. I was the only one I think who loved last week's
Right.
episode.
Oh,
You
the
guys
last 20
liked it.
the last
you
20
liked
minutes
it.
were brilliant.
But this week's was also really on par. So I'm really loving it so far. I think. It's definitely on par with some of their best. I'm loving it. With their, it's on par with one of their best seasons. I don't know if it's the best season, but it's definitely. Up
I think
there.
it's great.
It's not. Let me put it to you this way: some people, when a show like overlives or jumps the shark, you think it's kind of gone bad. I don't feel, even if 24 did jump the shark during its original season, I really love what they've done with it this
Back to
season.
the roots. It's top 3, I think, for me so far.
Yeah,
I think it's a great season. I'm surprised that the ratings aren't like way higher.
You know, they had their like initial peak of like 8 million, then they dropped to like the mid 5 million
Yeah.
range. It's kind of studied out around there. And
Okay.
That's not bad.
I didn't look at the
all.
numbers. What was it
It's
at last
pretty
week?
great.
It's not bad.
Let me
It's
check out my
I
summertime.
thought last week was
week's.
about 3, but I don't know.
And it is summertime,
That's
so
true.
summertime never really has as much. People go
Yeah.
out more often. They're doing
That's
more
true.
stuff, so that's part of it too. But I know Fox was expecting more from the show. That's
Right.
the only
Oh,
thing.
no. Last week's, it got back up to 6 million.
Oh,
yeah?
wow.
Well,
Last
that's
week
good.
was 6.28.
Especially since it was such a good episode last week.
I really thought so too. You guys didn't love it as much?
8, 8, 6, 5, 5, 6, 6.
John
we
just
talked about
John
it.
just sent me a thought, and this is a really good point
Okay.
as regarding Heller being dead. And I want to read this.
Love
Okay.
John.
He goes, okay, I think actually maybe he might be dead because the silent count was for everyone who died against their will, but Heller wanted to go. That's an interesting thought.
Damn.
No, but what about? No, I don't think so. Because what about the one? Oh God, I can't remember his name right now.
Edgar's the number one I think of when he died and it went out. And
Well,
they showed him
Edgar
asphyxiated,
was like a sacrifice. I mean, he jumped in. I mean,
which is what Heller was doing tonight.
Heller was sacrificing. Exactly. That's what I mean. So Heller did that, and then who's the one from season 3 that Jack killed at gunpoint? He had him down like in an executioner style. He was a former CTU. Oh God, what's his name?
I don't remember.
But it was like he was forced to kill. He was forced to kill the head of division. And I can't remember his name. Someone help me. I'm sorry, I'm just having a brain fart. But that was a silent countdown too, and he pretty much sacrificed himself too because he knew that the virus was going to get out if he. If Jack didn't kill him.
This for me, this plot line could make or break this season for me.
depending on if it goes which way will it make
catapult
it.
if he's still alive, it could catapult it to the best season of 24.
I don't have YouTube from last week open, but I know at least one person said they felt that Heller was just a weak president in comparison to some of the other ones.
And this could make him a great president. This could shift
Well,
his
this definitely, I mean, weak as far as 24 seasons. He felt like Heller was a weak choice to be
But
president.
we saw his character. I mean, he yelled at Jack. He got really into that conversation.
Oh, yeah,
he was much more central. He was the central figure of the episode.
Weak president, are you saying like the writing or the actor?
I think it was a combination of the two.
Really?
I think the role. Yeah, I don't know about acting. I think he's playing.
But think about this: if he's been kind of in the background and kind of a weak president up until this point, why was he so prominent in this? Just all of a sudden, his last episode. If he's really is dead, he's the most prominent central figure of the episode. He actually gets emotional with Jack. He gets emotional with Audrey. He's the central figure of the episode right before he dies.
Well,
no,
yeah,
I don't think so.
Well, this is awesome. I mean, it's so amazing what that countdown just did for us because it really opened up
20 minutes of
20 minutes worth of
conversation.
talking about this. But before we go on, let me just mention that if you follow us on iTunes and you've noticed that you haven't seen us on, we were having a problem with AfterBuzz shows getting on iTunes for some reason. It's too complicated to explain, and I didn't notice this till now because I usually I check the ratings a little more often and who's writing down ratings. But yeah, there's only a couple of episodes right now on iTunes. Not all of our episodes are on. We're hoping to get it fixed within the end of the week. Thank you all the people who have been rating us. We've been actually getting a lot of 4 stars and 5 stars, but they've been accompanied by, "Where the hell are you? Only 2 episodes. We like what we're hearing so far." So those, unfortunately, I can't speak to those people because they haven't gone on YouTube or AfterBuzzTV.com to us streaming. Although that's been down too, I think it's been a little weird. But bear with us.
It's all back up.
Bear with us. It will be back up shortly. Feel free to give us ratings, 4s and 5s preferably. And
we're completely back up on YouTube. We should be up all over our app if you don't have it, AfterBuzz TV app.
Yeah.
And on iTunes, we'll be up very shortly. Just stick with us. We're sorry, guys.
Apologies. I'm guessing we're preaching to the choir right now because the choir is listening to us and the people on iTunes aren't. But feel free to subscribe on iTunes. Feel free to rate us and give us high marks and be awesome. And you can also subscribe to a bunch of other AfterBuzz shows that many of us are a part of.
Nando.
Yes, sir.
Ryan Chappelle.
That was it, Ryan Chappelle. It was Chappelle.
I can't take credit for it.
Somebody
Guess
else?
who?
Johnny.
Yes.
Thank you, Johnny. Johnny's Super 24 fan.
I'm telling you.
Super 24 fan, Johnny. But I knew it was Chappelle. I knew if I heard it,
And
I
I
would have said
hated
it.
Chappelle for the longest time because he went by the book.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
And I loved him when he actually decided to sacrifice
I
himself.
can't even remember that far back sometimes. I need to go rewatch
But
it.
that was a heavy scene because I did not expect that death either. That was a death I didn't expect. I didn't expect Heller to die. We didn't even talk about it in predictions if we thought Heller was going to die or not. That's how much we figured. Oh yeah, he's going to be at Wembley. He's going to get saved at the last second.
Wow.
So
there's still also got to be something more to the signature thing. We know that it's an issue, but if Heller's dead, then he can't deny signing that.
I will guarantee you that EW or some outlet will have a story about the silent countdown in the coming days on the website.
Twitter is
or something
ablaze
that.
about it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a major thing. Let's talk a little bit. Along that vein. Let's talk a little bit about Heller's plan. He talks to Jack. He tells him about the surrender. He tells him about his Alzheimer's and the fact that he's going to be completely, stupid in a year, for lack of a better word. Excuse me. Not going to be able to recognize faces. He's not going to be cognitive. Whatever the word is for that. And Jack says, "I need somebody on the inside to help me get you out," and he trusts Mark. Brodeur. So we got Mark and Jack working together. What do you think of? I think that was really interesting, especially considering Mark is under a lot of pressure right now with that Russian diplomat from the past couple of weeks to get Jack in custody again.
Well, was anybody surprised that he chose Mark instead of Audrey?
No, Audrey would be too emotional of a choice.
And would she have as much access as Mark?
And Audrey would have talked Heller out of it. She would have done the best as she could to talk him out of it, or would have alerted the proper people to stop him from
I agree.
And practical things. How would she get the access codes to Wembley Stadium? She doesn't have as much access as Mark.
I agree.
But it's really interesting seeing the two of them work together, especially since Brodeur was trying to keep Jack's appearance secret for a while, and he's obviously signed. He forged the presidential signature to get him extradited.
Yeah.
And obviously there's the whole Audrey thing still too. He just obviously doesn't want him back in Audrey's life.
I'm kind of nervous because tonight was was the first episode that I actually really liked Mark. And I know with the crazy theories, but I still don't trust him. And I don't know what's going on there. And how much of this is an act with Audrey, how much of it is real. I'm starting to feel like I believe him, but it makes me nervous whenever I feel like that they're going to flip it and I'm going to fall on my butt.
Well, he still has Audrey's best interest at heart.
Yeah, and I think he's a good person, but I think he just has so much to lose since he like forged that signature. So I'm nervous at how that will come to play.
But yeah, I feel also that as president chief of staff, that was a very unlikely thing that a chief of staff would do. At least as far as like, I'm trying to think of other chiefs of staff like Cyrus from Scandal. Yep. You know, they usually have their own best interests at heart, as well as the country's.
Cyrus would do that. I think.
You think Cyrus would
murders? Yes.
No, he murders, but would he let the president sacrifice himself?
Oh.
Because also, because guess what? When the president's out of office, even the president resigning means he doesn't have a job anymore either. Because then the vice president has his own chief of staff, and that it's kind of like his team moves up.
Right. When the president says to him, "I hope that he asks you to stay on as an advisor or whatever," that was interesting. Maybe that persuaded him. I don't know.
Exactly. So that's why I'm really curious. I felt like that was a very even though he said the president was the greatest man I ever knew, and it was an honor to do this last service for him.
Maybe what Danny was saying. What? I was going to say maybe what you're saying is right, that he's in on some bigger scheme.
Well, and the way here's why I think he is. Let me set this up for you. Everything is stacked against Mark right now for us as the viewer.
Okay.
In his marriage, in his job, in us and how we feel about him, everything they've set up, his marriage is going to fall apart because he even said, he turned to Jack and he goes, "She'll never trust me again." Then she said to him, "I will never trust you again," and slapped him across the face. In his job, he's got this guy after him because he forged the signature. Yeah. Everything is set up for him. He's done a couple things. We're all, as a viewer, we're not sure. When he pulls through and is the third ring of this three-ring circus to disguise Heller's death, we're going to love him. And it's going to be a great emotional pull for the viewer. That's why I think
he's become a very interesting character. And kudos to Tate Donovan for playing it, because we're not sure what side he's on. He has his own interests, but...
It stresses me out, though, because at the end of the day, no matter what the character does, I'm Team Jack. Yeah. And it seems like being Team Jack keeps me from being on Team Mark.
Well, here's what's funny too. What's funny too is when Audrey walks in and discovers the letter that Heller left for her, and then Mark walks in and she realizes Mark was in on this. She slaps him, and of course she doesn't trust him anymore. And then she says, "Who? You know, like where is he?" And he's like, "He's with somebody he trusts." And she knows it's Jack.
Here's why I love that, because he told her it was Jack without saying it was Jack, and actually breaking his personal bond that he gave Heller his word he wouldn't say. Yeah, he said it without saying it. I loved that moment.
But will Audrey forgive Jack? If she doesn't forgive Mark, could she forgive Jack?
Well, it depends on I think all is well and good if he's still alive. Who does she have to forgive? Really, nobody.
Then the point is moot, other than the fact that nobody kept her in on the loop.
Look, in 3 episodes, in the final 3 hours, there's no way she's gonna end up with Jack. As much as there's a love there, I think Jack, tonight when Jack and Mark shook hands and kind of had their like, look, we don't like each other, we're going to put aside our differences and do this, was to signify like, look, even though there's a love interest between Jack and Audrey, it's not going to happen because Jack's a good man and he still respects Mark, and Mark respects him back. I think that's how it ends.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't foresee anything ever happening with them this season.
It's alluded to enough. When they went forehead to forehead earlier this season, that was enough to let us, as the viewer, know, like, hey, it's still there.
Well, you know, I want to
think they're going to act.
I want to bring this up now. I think now is a good time to bring this up. I didn't write it on the board, but I definitely want to talk about Audrey. First of all, just that touching scene between father and daughter when he was like kind of bonding with her. But I've noticed something also in the YouTube comments from last week. A lot of people feel like that comment when Adrian Cross said he was a middleman who's talking with Navarro. Yeah, there were a lot of theories about Audrey being in charge or the top gun here.
What?
There were actually quite a few people saying that, and there was one.
Were they plausible?
There was one that I thought was kind of plausible.
Explain yourselves.
Yeah, break it down.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, Audrey was taken prisoner by the Chinese in one season. She was actually a prisoner for the Chinese. So there was a theory that maybe she's like Manchurian candidate, like brainwashed
like
or something.
Homeland territory,
something like that.
Wow.
And
y'all are crazy.
I know it's a crazy theory. I mean,
I love crazy
and the
theories.
person who signed it was Roxy Striar. No, I'm kidding. wasn't Roxy. I don't have my
I can
YouTube
get on board with
open.
this.
But I think it's interesting because I kind of agree with you. I can't see Audrey. I mean, Audrey's married to Mark, and we don't know if Mark would have to be a villain for really it to make sense for Jack and Audrey to get back together again anyway.
Okay, but there would be no storyline that can make sense to like allow the viewers to believe that would happen.
I know, but I just feel like
I don't know if Audrey was turned, and then Jack and Mark have to pair together to take down Audrey, but we have no time left. I don't know. This is you just opened something so big.
Roxy,
my
for those of you
voice
not on video, Roxy's mind just exploded.
Woo.
I need a sound effect.
Just too much.
Roxy's mind just exploded.
Just
But
a little
yes,
person
there
is
was a
too
couple of
much.
people. So kudos. I don't have it up unless Danny's pulling it up. I'll try and pull it
that
up
is
later.
what Danny's doing.
There was a couple of people. The theories on
I'm
Audrey.
pulling up theories off tonight's episode. There's some great stuff in here.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh awesome. Feel free to share if you see anything really awesome worth sharing.
Well, I don't want. It's not on Audrey. I want to wait till you finish Audrey.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that's pretty much it. So I'm just wondering if you guys think that Audrey. I mean, we haven't seen too much of her. She's been really playing the. I hate to say it, call this, but she's been playing kind of a weak character. You know, like Brodeur is obviously trying to protect her, and she's not really in on the president's conversations too much. She's kind of there, you know, in a supportive
She hasn't
role.
really chosen a path of any way that's going to make us feel anything.
So I feel
negative
like
or
there needs to be a
positive.
turn with her as well.
Does there need to be, or you just feel like there should because of
There should,
24's history?
or at the very least, she should be put in danger. You know, the typical 24. Anytime Jack has a love interest, you know, there's obviously that person's in danger.
I don't know that I agree that she's in weak. I think that she's in a weaker position since she doesn't have an actual like title in the White House in that circle. But I think she's in strong in that position.
I think based on the last time that we saw her, she is as strong as we absolutely could see her. You know, she was in pieces, and now the fact that she's even making sentences.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you know enough about 24 and you know about her character and what she's been through, I mean, it's a major accomplishment that she is standing.
Right, exactly.
You
So I
know?
feel like she is strong.
She perseveres, but I just feel like she hasn't been used. I guess what I'm saying is I maybe the writing for her is weak, but I just don't feel, other than that scene when she discovers Jack's alive and they had that one big scene, I feel like, and there's a little bit of fighting scenes with Mark here and there. I don't feel like she just hasn't been.
She's not kicking ass.
She's not kicking ass.
Yeah, I get that.
She's not involved. And with the president, if the president is dead, then what does that mean for her?
He's not.
If he's dead and at least resigned, what does that mean for her? So that would be the other thing I would say. But anyway, so that's it. That's my thought on Audrey. Unless anyone else has any other thoughts, feel free to mention some of what you're finding out there, Danny, because I'm really curious.
That's my roommate.
Who?
Your roommate.
Burke.
Holy drones.
Oh no, holy drones.
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Fifth and. So here's.
Just kidding. The people just talking about the silent clock. People are talking about Holy Ian, Margot's son, that he was able to set up with travel time and set up all that equipment in 43 minutes.
Well, the time
Do you
thing's
guys
always
remember
been a
at
little.
the end, Chloe said, "Jack, I can break it down into 3 data streams. One of them controls something, and blah blah blah." What did she say from there? She said 3 data streams. She said one
There
of
was
them.
an impenetrable wall.
Yeah, one I can't
Behind the
penetrate. The
drone
other
that
2
she,
or less.
I thought it was like the drone that she couldn't control that particular drone because there was an impenetrable wall, or.
And that is why Roxy's theory makes sense, because they couldn't control the drones,
But they could
show
affect
their
something.
computer
They could
screens
manipulate
what
it.
is not happening.
So Chloe
Right.
O'Brien tweeted this and was talking about that. So
You mean Marilyn Rice Cup?
Is that somebody posing
somebody's
as that?
handle as Chloe O'Brien.
Oh, somebody's
yeah.
handles Chloe O'Brien.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have us fooled, okay?
It's not Marilyn Rice Cup. That doesn't count. Is it verified?
Verified.
Is
Chloe
it verified?
O'Brien.
Chloe O'Brien. Well, you know.
I was kind of, speaking of Ian, I was kind of surprised by the change of character that he and Margot had. They've had like a very like alpha dog and yes ma'am like situation, and then today he was sticking up for himself, talking to her, and she was actually listening, responding to what he was saying, and not just trying to intimidate him.
It's really weird that he seemed to want to save Simone's life more than the mom did, but then he seemed to want to go against their word more than the mom did, you know?
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a swerve there.
And maybe because it's the mom's only kid left, maybe she's finally feeling a little more sentimental listening to him. I don't know. She lost one, doesn't want to lose another.
Well, here's the other interesting thing about that dynamic. You know, Margot is ready to follow her word. She's like, even, you know, I'll show that even a terrorist, a supposed terrorist, because she still doesn't think of herself as a terrorist, can keep her word. But according to Ian, according to Ian said that he told his mom, he said, you said President Heller would never surrender. So their plan was always to hit these targets. And all of a sudden now Margot finds out that President Heller is willing to surrender and sacrifice himself, and she's willing to, whatever their plan A really is, she's willing to forego that to get the revenge that she wanted on Heller for that bomb attack that killed her husband.
And from what we have seen, Heller seems very confident that she's going to live by her word.
Yeah.
Which was, to me, like, maybe a wee bit cheesy.
A little bit for me.
Thank you.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swear on the soul of your dead husband.
Yeah.
That part
Fine.
I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like the
I'll
writing
say whatever
there.
the F you want me to say.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But
but
don't
don't
forget
a moment.
But
to
here's
say
the,
it,
don't
but-
forget, it's recorded. I mean, he showed it to Brodeur. So if she doesn't follow her word, to Jack. I'm sorry, you're right. She showed it to Jack. So if she doesn't follow her word, they have proof of her actually of the president surrendering and her swearing on the
and that
that
whole
nothing-
hold
Get
up
out
in
that
a
we
court of
negotiated
law.
with terrorists. I don't think they would ever show it. I think they recorded it for internal use.
Okay, well, I don't know. I like to think that they want to peg her as a liar and a manipulator and saying that her cause is unjust. I think the best way to do that is to show her saying something that she's obviously lying about.
Terrorists are liars and manipulators. Period. End of story.
Also,
anyways.
politicians and hosts at AfterBuzz TV. The point is that I'm curious if that tape will come back to play, though, because it was such a big moment. He was like, "Watch the tape," instead of being like, "Margot said this."
Yeah, I absolutely think it will. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen it. I'm not sure how. I really think that Margot loses control a little bit here or finds out that he's still alive, because I believe her. For some reason, I'm on Team Heller, where I believe her. When she says she's going to destroy the missiles if she can kill him,
Well,
I believe her. I don't know why, but I do.
Heller told Jack it was a no-win situation. If they can't stop the drones, she's going to bomb everything anyway. So even if she kills him, and still bombs the place, then she can be ruled out as a manipulator, a liar, whatever.
Right.
So that was what he considered his one option, considering everything else that we talked about, his Alzheimer's and the fact that he felt he wasn't doing a good job and he was going to resign anyway, or he already cleared that. So
I know that last episode I complained a little bit that she was getting just a little like too expected, and it was all the same. So it was really nice this episode to see her talking to President Heller and being thrown off and having to process these new like glitches in the plan.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that with her.
I will agree that I thought it was really fast for Ian to find a new location and set up. But I mean, it's 24, and I always feel like when they shoot 24 in LA, I'm like, you cannot get from North Hollywood to downtown in 10 minutes.
I
Okay,
know.
you cannot, even at 2 in the morning.
So we hear him say, though, about the drones, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So that would mean that they have 5 left, which we knew, and that tonight they used one of their.
Well, look, last week they used 1 full drone, so they only have 5 left.
Right. So they had 5 left at the top of this. Now they have 4 left plus a 5th one, which is missing a missile.
But each of them have many missiles on them.
Right. They each have 6 missiles.
They
on them.
each have 6 missiles on them, and they didn't need 6 missiles to shoot a guy standing in the middle of Wembley Stadium.
Right,
They just
only
needed
need
one, really.
That's why I'm just trying. Yeah.
So that would be still a lot of drones and a lot of missiles.
So there's 29 missiles left.
Mr. Arithmetic, yes, got it.
A second.
Boom, baby.
Boom.
I got there.
I'm proud.
Shout out to
That
my
was
4th
good.
grade arithmetic teacher, Mrs. Daughtry.
Let's talk a little bit actually about Simone. Because I think I talked a little bit about it last week about that whole dilemma. Like, you have somebody that's in a coma and you want to wake her,
So wake
even though she
that
might
bitch
die.
up.
So wake
Hey,
the bitch
that
up.
line was one of my favorites of Jack Bauer's ever. We
That
need
was
to do
my
this
favorite.
fast, so wake the bitch up.
Wake the
That
bitch
was
up.
good.
I
It
mean,
was awesome.
we talked about. I mentioned about. I believe it was season. I want to say season 3 right now. No, season 2, where Sarah Gilbert's character was when there was a CTU attack and she was unconscious, but she had the codes to get certain files. And it was a major dilemma. It wasn't wake that bitch Sarah Gilbert up. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I don't know the character's name right now, but it wasn't wake her up. It was like a real dilemma. We love this person. We don't want her to die, but at the same time, we have a national crisis here. This is just a terrorist,
Right.
and it's like everyone wants to protect her except for Jack and Kate. And
I do believe this is the last we'll see of her. I think she died.
I think at this point we don't really care about her. I want to say we don't care about her, but at the same time maybe she has more information.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
we have Margot. We have
got the
Ian.
disc
We
out
don't
of
need
her from the
Simone.
floor.
Yeah.
That's true.
Words.
I think she's done. She's
Yeah.
hot. I feel sad. Maybe a silent countdown for her. I don't know.
Yeah, and we only got to see her with blonde hair and with red hair. We
She
need
still looked
brown.
hot in a coma.
She's still a
Yeah,
cot in a
she did.
coma.
Yeah.
I'd give her a
Is
silent
that your
countdown.
type?
The coma type?
Yeah,
The comatose type.
Yep.
Got comatose.
Good for you, Danny.
Yeah.
See, we make fun of her when she's here too. See, we do it.
I thought we get fun of Danny.
We don't need her. And Danny too.
It's a good side of the table.
It's a
over
good
here.
side of the table. No, I love that side of the table. I love looking at you guys.
Nando,
Yes.
chill out.
Sorry.
I love
Anyway,
looking at you guys too. Jeez.
Okay,
Jeez.
wake the bitch up.
wake the bitch up.
What is happening right now?
I don't know. But anyway, so Kate, good move by Kate, putting the doctor at gunpoint. He wakes her up.
That was sweet. What did the two guys in the? What were they doing? The two guys in the
They were,
background
like, touching
just
themselves.
standing.
Yeah, literally.
It
It was weird.
She's a prisoner at
It
CIA.
was, know what it was like? It was like, you're an extra, we're going to shoot the scene for the 10th time, and they're like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Yeah. We're here.
And they didn't even like give them direction.
Like we
And
got
they're
these
like,
bag,
we're
we got the
starting,
baggy
whatever.
scrubs on.
They won a contest to be on 24 in the background.
Yeah.
Isn't that like huge though? That like you're focusing on the main characters, and yet it's the slouching like ER interns on the back that like take you out of it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just wondered, like, they're just gonna sit there and watch her pull this gun,
Interesting.
and she turned her back to them.
Yeah.
maybe
As an
they're
just
agent, you should know that.
What, are we supposed to move? What's my motivation to move?
Yeah,
And
grab your
it's-
cell
and it's like
phone,
you're-
text somebody
button,
out,
anything.
text the nurse outside the room, like this crazy blonde lady's
At
got a
least act
gun.
on alert. Put your arms up.
Also, I
Give me a gas.
really don't feel like Kate would have shot anybody. Like, if he
No.
was like, I'm not going to do anything, she would have been like, well, all right.
All right,
She
fine.
just wanted to show that she means business,
Although
but I
I would
don't
like
know.
to see her shoot somebody.
I probably would, but
Mostly for selfish reasons, but still.
Yeah, I
Nice.
was always on the fence early in the season about whether or not I like Kate, and I couldn't figure out why. I like her when she's taking like an active stance, like this episode.
Oh, that's how you like them.
Yeah, exactly. Like got her guns up, she's in control. Early episode, she was kind of passive. She's packing her desk, and that's not as interesting to watch.
Got it.
got it. Well,
Got it.
Yeah, I like
Got
a
it.
gun in my head. I like to be
We
choked.
got it.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, anyway,
Everybody
so
wants to be
Simone gives some vital information, luckily, at the very last second before we believe she probably dies. No one cares. We didn't want to show it. But about
There
the
is no
floorboard.
silent clock for her.
About the floorboard that Naveed put a disc in underneath. So they send the team out. This is the last
10
ditch engine.
Broadmoor Hampton, but she won't be there.
But you will not find her there. She's too smart for you. Which is really funny seeing previews for next week's episode. They found her. She wasn't that great.
They did?
Well, apparently, I mean, the previews for next week's episode looked
They
like
showed
Jack's
Jack-
back.
I think throwing Ian out the window.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so Kate sends a team out
Margot
there,
crying.
and they find a disc, and what I thought was really funny is first of all, she gets a copy of the disc and she gives it to the guy that I thought was really moly last week, Gavin, I believe.
Wait, sorry, I missed this.
So last week, when Jordan was still working on that Phoenix retrieval program
Yeah.
to try and figure out,
The guy that you think is a mole.
there was a guy that was talking to him, and then that's when Cross called Navarro, and we're like, oh, he must have been the mole and told Adrian
It
Cross.
makes perfect sense.
So I actually thought he wasn't going to send that information to Chloe, but he apparently did. So maybe he's not as moly, or maybe he felt that he was going to get busted if he didn't. And I thought it was really funny seeing Chloe after being kicked out or running away from her home base where she was at last week
getting
in a
wasted.
pub. In a
She
pub.
was there last week. I thought at the very end
Didn't
of it.
some guy
she got
ask her
there.
to buy her a drink?
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah,
"Can I buy you a pint?" or
some
something
guy
like
was
that?
flirting with her and stuff.
Yeah,
while
don't
she was
ask the
doing-
girl with
Yeah.
headphones on typing on her computer.
Yeah.
She
But
looks
like,
really
she couldn't find a
approachable.
coffee shop
I guess at that
from
hour
6 to 7 p.m.
They don't have coffee in Britain.
they just
Tea.
Irish coffee. That's about it. Or tea.
They only have beer.
Tea time.
She should have gone to a tea shop. Yes.
Now you know, Chloe,
She
okay?
should have gone to a tea shop. There we go. But anyway, so Chloe's back on using free Wi-Fi at a pub.
And yet nobody
With
at
some-
CTI, CTU,
CIA. CTI, yeah.
Just keep saying.
CI, whatever. Nobody
UTI.
is like, nobody at UTI was like, you can't just like drop off this girl all these files that she doesn't work here. And they're like, okay, sure. You
Oh,
just
Chloe,
got,
yeah.
Margot El Harazi, we'll send it wherever you want it.
Yeah.
mailbigfiles.com.
But people in the back of the pub looking over the shoulder like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I'd love to see a scene, when you have your computer and you want to go to a coffee shop and get a seat and just hang out for a couple hours, but every seat's taken. So you're just like waiting and hovering. And it would have been great to see Chloe like, I got to get a seat. I can't find a seat. She's just like standing up trying to do everything.
She like sit on the bar.
Or if like somebody's trying to do some kind of code on a laptop and she's like, ugh, just let me do it for you. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Shuts her laptop. Here you go. Bye.
That would have been funny to see something like that. But anyway, so Audrey, well, not Audrey, excuse me. So Chloe ends up getting the codes, and we've already talked pretty much about what we think Chloe may or may not have done.
But by may not, you mean May.
By may not, I mean, by Roxy's count, I mean May. Let's talk about, well, you know what was interesting also was Navarro calling her up, and obviously Navarro still, not Navarro.
Chloe?
Not Navarro, I'm sorry, Cross. I was going to talk about Navarro, but I wanted to talk
Adrian.
about Cross first. So Adrian calling up Chloe and saying he's got a new
problem
base.
with this.
Yeah.
Because Adrian seems to know all and be this middleman that's connected to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Adrian calls her, and it sounds like he's in the middle of all this stuff with Navarro and all this other stuff, and he's just talking about Chloe come back to like this thing we used to do before this day got crazy.
Yeah.
And she's saying, I'm helping Jack real quick. He doesn't want to know what she's helping Jack with, or does he already know and doesn't allude to the fact that he knows? And if he does know, then is he working against Jack? Like, it just seemed too loosey-goosey
And
for me of a conversation.
Yeah, going off that, I want to know how much she knows about what Adrian Cross is doing.
Right, like there's
Navarro.
that missed for me.
Yeah.
Like either they both know something or like it's compartmentalized and neither of them know what the other is doing.
I would have to think that if Chloe is a part of his organization, that he trusts her fully.
Right.
Which means she would know about this kind of stuff.
There's still the thing that we talked about earlier this season. He said he loved her.
Yes.
And it sounded like when he was calling her night, he was kind of like in an emotional state, like separate from terror and middleman business, whatever he's doing. He's, Chloe, come back to me, like, I miss you kind of thing.
Well, you just said it missed for you. I just think we haven't gotten there yet. Like, I was watching this, I'm like, am I missing something? No, we just don't know what's going on
then
yet.
in that case,
And-
the producer done their job because it makes me want to know what's going on there.
absolutely. I think that Cross is not somebody who's good, and he's not somebody who's bad right now. I think there's something fishy going on. We know that Navarro was given a lot of money. We don't really know other motives behind what they're even trying to do or what they're
Wait, so
trying to
you think
accomplish.
Navarro might not be bad?
I think that Navarro's doing something very bad. I don't think he even really knows what he's doing, though. I think it probably started with something.
He's framing another
And that-
agent
right.
and getting one of his best agents deported back to the
kill
But he,
States.
didn't, but he didn't want to do that. I
And
don't
if
think his
he's-
intentions are, I mean, clearly we are going to deem him as a bad guy. He's trying to kill Jordan. We love Jordan.
So is it possible that the end game for Navarro is that he's maybe working with somebody way up, like if it's an Audrey or whoever is above at the top of this, to do something good to stop this?
But is it possible that Navarro's end game is just that he made a lot of money and he sold out, not that he
See,
wants to ruin
that's
the
what
United
we think
States?
right now, and that's what they want us to think. So what I'm saying is that it? Or
I'm not sure, but and either Adrian or Navarro is going to have to turn or do something because
somebody's got
yeah, somebody's got to. I mean, we know that Cross really cares about Chloe. That can't be fake. He loves her.
He seems
but,
to love her,
But
yeah.
he's not letting her in on everything. Obviously, Chloe doesn't know that Cross is working with Navarro.
Also, we know that Kate's gonna find out that her husband was set up at the end of the season. That's gonna come back full circle.
I just don't understand. If there's a bigger fish, which we've talked about that we think there might be still,
Yeah.
there's 3 hours left. There's
Yeah,
3
yes.
episodes
We
left.
have four. We
Four
have
episodes, I believe,
9,
right?
10,
4
11,
episodes.
12.
I'm
We
sorry,
got
4 episodes. Yeah, tonight
Oh,
was
no,
8.
wait. The day started at 11. Not that it matters. I
No,
forget
I'm
because,
saying-
yeah, that's
Well,
right.
and
Not
that's
that it
another
matters.
thing. We haven't seen a time
We haven't seen a
jump.
time
Is
jump
it
yet.
possible that
Bunch
the
of-
bigger fish has nothing to do with Margot Al-Harazi?
That the bigger fish.
Is it
think that
possible
would be
that
too
Mark
many-
is the bigger fish?
It's not the first time that's happened. That
Let's
the
try to
real
talk in
villain of the
questions.
second.
That's
That's
all you can only ask questions.
You can only ask questions. But it's,
I don't know,
it's
Nando,
Sorry,
is that what
I
you
keep
think?
cutting you off.
No, you can. I was saying there's not a lot of. Basically, what I'm saying, there's not a lot of episodes left.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a lot of hours left to do these plot lines and to tie these knots.
Yeah.
And 24 has always been really good about tying the majority of the major plot lines. They've tied those knots by the end of the season. So my main questions are: A, if there's a bigger fish, why haven't we seen it? Or when are we going to see it?
Yeah.
Because it's
Or
very
B,
late.
what I alluded to last season, that there might be 12 more episodes they announce, and this is just half of the season.
I would love to see that, but again, I feel like to end on a cliffhanger and wait a full year to see the rest of it. I don't know. I feel like it's not the first time a season ends on a cliffhanger, but
they
that's
just wrapped shooting literally yesterday.
It could
June
be like
15th.
A
Well,
and B,
yeah.
season A and B.
season A and B.
I don't
Come back
think
in the
s-
fall even.
I don't think scheduling wise we can get all of these actors to commit to that. I think they're getting them for 12.
Danny thinks that they shot everything already and that they're going to bank.
Release it Beyonce style.
Yeah, they're going to bank the rest of it. Yeah.
I think it's a possibility.
Beyonce.
You know what?
I
I think it could be too that they're like, we're gonna see how it is, and at like episode 10 we can wrap it up. Or if they're still getting these great numbers, we'll just shoot 12 more. That's not like out of the question.
No,
I
it's not
don't. I don't know.
Like at that moment, we'll show.
I don't know. Maybe Margot is the bigger fish, and maybe somehow she's working with Cross, and somehow he's working with Navarro.
I don't know. I think that Cross's mindset is like a higher mission for the world on the whole, whereas Margot's just revenge.
Well, I don't think there's a connection, or at least a direct connection between Navarro and Margot. I think right now what we're thinking about is the whole Navarro Cross thing. But I don't feel that Margot's part of that. The only connection they really have is that guy from the first episode who was working under Cross and had that program to be able to get access to the drones.
The big fish is the background person.
What in the world is the point of saying that Cross is a middleman? Why did they release that?
Cross is a middleman.
Dramatic, like he turns his back and you finally see his face.
Yeah.
That he's on the phone and the voice modulation. Why would they do that if there's not a bigger fish?
I'm saying there is a bigger fish. I'm just saying that we shouldn't connect Navarro and Cross to Margot. I don't think there's a direct correlation right now. It's still different. I mean, the theory about Audrey has to do with the Chinese. I don't know if Margot's working for I don't know if she's ultimately working for the Chinese. It's possible.
Could have even
We
been
have
part
the
of the cover up.
Russians.
It'd be kind of late in the game to bring the Chinese back into this.
It's possible. It's possible that whoever's in charge of Cross, whoever's in charge is also financing Margot. Somebody else mentioned, like, isn't it interesting that she has all this money, that beautiful mansion in Hampton?
geez.
I definitely don't think it was somebody we haven't been introduced to. We've still got the Prime Minister. We've got the Russians. You know, there's a lot of people we've been introduced to.
Are you saying the Prime Minister has something to do with this?
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, she's saying the guys behind Simone in the hospital room, those two guys in green scrubs, are the big fish.
No, but seriously, that Asian girl that worked for Cross, she's coming back, guys.
Oh my God.
She was Indian.
She's Indian.
So
Okay, here's the thing,
I
though.
couldn't remember what she looked like, to be honest.
It's just so fascinating that Adrian Cross is a free agent. He does his own thing. So what could be offered to him to make him follow the commands of somebody else?
Yeah, like who governs him? What does he want?
Yeah, what could he be offered?
Especially
Money,
since
power,
he's such a
autonomy?
leverage.
No.
Yeah, since the kind of guy who's into free information, getting information out to the public,
Yeah,
there's
no leverage that's going to persuade him.
Yeah,
Free Beyonce tickets.
there you go. So I mean, it's possible. I mean, obviously, if he's behind Navarro selling those secrets to the Chinese government, then it's very possible that the top dog is someone associated with the Chinese government too. That's why I think the Audrey correlation makes a little bit of sense, because she has history with the Chinese.
Quick thing that I just wanted to bring back in, because
Yeah, Roxy, what is it?
the fact that the president. The fact that the president pardoned Jack, does that even mean anything? He pardoned him?
Pardon. It's a joke. Pardon.
Oh.
I'm with you. The fact that he pardoned Jack.
Man, the fact that he pardoned him, does that even mean it? I mean, Jack has so many people after him right now. Was that just like a show of good faith, or is that relevant to the rest of the season?
So he can chill in the States with his daughter.
See, he's on the run. He can't go back to the States.
Right, but
now
why
he can.
would we have been given that piece of information?
Because that was
it was
what
a
Jack
thank
ultimately
you.
wanted.
No, not really, because he even said he didn't care about that.
He said he
even
didn't care,
it.
but ultimately, what does Jack want? To be with his family. What does he care most
In the
about?
country he
He
loves.
cares about the United States and his family. If you could tell me two things that Jack
I
wants to
feel
say.
We need
like
a
Jack
Kim
cares.
Skype session.
I feel like Jack cares about getting terrorist interest, getting whatever terrorists out of the way. I think he's on a mission to save the world by himself.
Only if it comes across his path.
I don't think his
That's
goal.
how this whole season started. Is when he said, "I intercepted some intel."
Yeah.
like some intel came across basically.
No,
and
but
I have to act on
no.
it.
But he said for the past 4 years he was working under this guy. Remember, he was working under that British gang member, and he was undermining his operations. So he's been busy doing that. He's been like Santa Claus, going around the world stopping terrorist attacks. That's what I feel he's been doing, and I think ultimately, I mean, his
Because
family
that
is
is
the
what
Santa Claus of
yes.
terrorism.
The Santa Claus. Oh, I don't know. I was just trying to make a thing, but it didn't work.
No, but I get what you're saying. I just want to think of who's better than he's
going around
The Hillary
steals
Clinton.
things?
saying
He goes
who's
around
been
a lot of
naughty and who's
countries.
been nice, and
haircut.
he's been punishing who's been naughty to the United States.
But what's a fictional character that steals things?
It's like Robin
Grinch?
Hood.
The
Robin
Grinch.
The Grinch.
He's like the Grinch of terrorism.
How about he's just Robin Hooding?
Why is he the Grinch?
Why not Robin Hood? Why not that? But anyway, I really do feel that Jack. Look, the only person that Jack has is Kim. And I know, as much as I'd love to see Eliza Cuthbert back
And
on the show,
Chloe.
and Chloe, but Chloe's out here in London, and she's also on the run. It seems like, since she's working for Cross,
And
He
Audrey.
can't function without Chloe, though.
Audrey's married. He can't. Audrey's not family. Audrey's married to somebody else.
He loves her.
I know.
Audrey's just nothing but a former love interest
See,
with a really pretty face.
The only other people he could see are all in cemeteries. Yes, send me back to the States so I can actually visit their graves.
I was quiet during this section because I really think that Jack and Audrey, something's going to happen.
God, no way.
No way.
Yeah.
No how.
No way.
Pretty
I'll bet you a
positive.
cup of Whole Foods chicken noodle soup. No
I
way,
think
no
he's
how.
just too careful to.
I'll take
He
you
will not
on
ruin
that
her
bet.
marriage.
I didn't say that. I just think something.
Something would ruin their marriage, though.
Jack wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'll say.
Jack no like you.
I know something you don't know.
Before we move on past this episode, we got to touch on Jordan because I think that was obviously
Wait,
something
I'm sorry.
that we
Can
got
I just say one more thing about Adrian Cross?
Yeah, sure.
This has been bothering me. So in the first couple episodes, he was in this like black jacket. They were looking really grungy, a little leathery. And now whenever we see him, he's in a button down and like a scarf.
Like he's
because
more
he got
bossy.
two different personalities.
Yeah, more bossy, more like
taking, like, a more-
political. Yeah. And so I'm wondering like where's he been now? But also I'm wondering why this would warrant like a change of wardrobe.
Maybe it's getting colder. It's a London.
No, but if
thing.
he's like hiding out, like
more
why would he
important
just
the better
stay?
you dress.
Yes.
It's cold all of a sudden. I'm going to put on my scarf.
So maybe Adrian Cross is much more important than we realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if like he is like hiding as a politician.
I think after being rejected by Chloe, he just wants to pick me up. So he wants to look good.
Yeah,
out
he went to
there.
J. Crew.
He went to
and
J.
was
Crew and
like-
said, "You know what? I need to look good."
He went to he's in London, so he went to Top Man and was just like, "Let me get some
Top
good
Man.
clothes."
There are
like
better
there's
stores than
gotta
Top
be a
Man.
Top shop for boys.
There's
Top shop.
everything is so carefully chosen in this series. There's got to be a big reason for that.
I don't know.
I'm with you on the theories.
Yeah.
I have a problem with Jordan.
Right there.
Tell me about it.
I have a problem with Jordan. Jordan smacks this guy in the face with a pipe, so he obviously is
love you,
some
Jordan.
kind of physical ability.
Yeah.
He grabs the gun and holds it like he knows what he's doing, and he falls for the stupid safety trick.
Is the safety on?
The
Or is
safety
it off?
trick. Like, the safety trick. He's got the guy on the ground
What's
with
the
the gun.
safety trick?
The guy says, "Do you even know if the safety's on or off?" He goes, "It's worth making a stake." Trust me, you don't want to find out.
He should have just shot
But
him.
then he
I would have just
basically
shot him.
backsteps and looks
But
at
he
it.
wanted to find out why.
I know, but I would have maimed him at least. I would have shot him in the knee or kneecap or arm.
You
or
would have
something.
what?
I would have maimed.
Maimed.
If I shot
To maim.
to maim.
Name.
To
I would
maim.
not have killed him, but I would have shot my gun
To lodge bullet in
at
one's kneecap.
at the rent-a-cop assassin guy, whatever he is, the rent-a-assassin guy that we were making fun of last week.
Yeah. I would have. I would have incapacitated him.
Incapacitated him. That's a good
Yeah.
word too.
I'm gonna double maim you.
Okay. My other Jordan problem
That's her word
is
for
that
the week.
it's winter. He should have got hypothermia in that water, and now he's out of it. He's soaking wet.
But he's high on adrenaline after being shot.
Yeah, whatever.
That would be my thing.
so-
That's my
gotta stay
reasoning.
high.
Also, props to the producers for not doing a. Oh my god, my cell phone! I don't have reception.
Yeah.
It just
You know,
got-
considering-
It was ruined by the water.
Yeah, I know. Props to them for like having that. I was like, oh, that makes
Considering
sense.
Yeah.
considering the CIA seemed to use Windows applications, I would have laughed if it was like an iPhone. Like they're really sending a message like we use Windows, iPhone doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it was pretty funny.
They could have that new waterproof phone.
The waterproof
would have
one?
been awesome.
That would've
would have
been
been a great product placement for the new waterproof.
But you know,
phone.
Jordan seemed to, from last week's episode, when he was sent out in the field. You remember he thanked Navarro. He's like, "Thank you for trusting with this."
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like even though he's a geeky IT tech type of guy, that secretly he wants to be in the field. So that was his chance to use that pipe and hit that
has
guy.
something we don't know
What did
yet.
that happen with? Somebody else went in the field that was like a geeky like IT person.
Well,
way back then.
Did, didn't he?
Well, and the first time
And
Chloe did. Remember
too.
the first time Chloe did?
Yeah,
There was a
there's-
gun involved.
It's happened before.
I,
yeah.
I
true.
think that we don't know everything about Jordan yet and about his past because he really knew what he was doing with that pipe.
He just swung it once.
no
He's probably
way.
from Boston.
There's only
I think
4
it's so much
hours.
training. I think it was
He's
so
from
much
Boston.
training.
That's how I knew how to use the pipe. He's a
Probably
Southie.
read Maria's book.
He's a Southie. There you go. He
No,
read
they
his
get
book.
so much
Southie,
training, and yet
Dorchester.
they find out he's a great hacker. They're like, "I'm sorry, but we have to use you on the computer."
But I mean, he had that one moment of brilliance, and then he's like, and he actually said, "I know," which I was surprised about. That he actually figured out Navarro tried to kill him because he was the only one who knew he was there.
Yeah.
So
He's smarter than your average intel guy.
I would have thought
IT
no,
guy.
Navarro couldn't have done it. But yeah, I mean, when he called Navarro and said, "This is my location. Someone tried to kill me," he knew all along he was setting a trap for this assassin guy. So I thought that was brilliant.
Why would
But
he not
then-
just choose to call somebody else?
See, that would have been smart too, I think. Or call Navarro and then call the cops.
Yeah.
Johnny just pointed out that it was a Glock he was holding, which doesn't even have a safety. So there you go.
Holy crap! Well,
It makes him more of an idiot.
Who is this? We gotta get Johnny in here.
that does make him more of an
Johnny
idiot.
for the win.
Johnny for the win. There you
USA.
go. Awesome.
Johnny Racket.
USA. Yeah. So anyway, so Jordan. Of course, he wants to know why, and if he only didn't want to know why, he could have just killed the guy and ratted on Navarro.
Curiosity.
Curiosity
Killed the Jordan.
Jordan.
Killed the Jordan. Ah, that was good, Roxy.
Yes, that was good. Like that. Cheers to that. So here's the thing. In the ensuing little melee that happened, we see this guy stab Jordan in what seems to be the chest. It wasn't really clear. I played it back. It seemed like to be in the center of the
It
chest.
looked like it was right in his xiphoid process.
I
Actually,
thought it was
to me.
like a below the collarbone.
All right. Well, he definitely
It was
looks
twice though. He stabbed
That was
him.
one.
Oh,
That was
it
one.
was just one and then deeper. in?
We've-
slowly
No,
like
we-
squeezed in and just
We
stayed
went
there.
back and saw it again.
But of course, then Jordan pulls out the other gun he had,
Roxy.
which he didn't even care to ask if he had the safety on. Just she used it.
used it twice.
Probably didn't have a safety on
Two
it.
through and throughs.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh yeah, the classic through and through.
yes, the classic through and through. So anyway, rent a
After
cop,
you meet somebody.
rent an assassin is dead. And Jordan dead, alive? I'm
I
thinking
think
he's
Jordan's still alive because remember the phone was ringing?
Yeah.
Navarro called and then he looked at his phone. He's like, why didn't my assassin pick up? Jordan's alive long enough to pick up a phone to make another phone call. And I want to know who you guys think he's going to call.
He's calling Kate.
Go-
Kate.
Ghostbusters.
He has a
He's
crush
gonna
on
call
Kate.
When Kate is
One for
now,
Ghostbusters, three for
because this,
Kate.
I agree with you. Here's the thing. I agree with you. I think his call is to Kate. Now remember, where is Kate right now? Kate is in the substation with Navarro.
Navarro. They've shown those little longing glances at
So
each
she's
other.
either going to take Navarro into custody herself. She's gonna something big is gonna go down next episode.
Totally.
You think so?
With Kate Navarro in that substation. Jordan is absolutely still alive because they didn't show him dead. They just showed the blood leaking, but the blood I think was from a said assassin. The phone is within reach. It's laying there to show it's within one arm's reach. I think he calls Kate.
Okay,
I don't-
Big goes
but,
down.
but on paper, this stuff would not like back them up in the court of law to like take down your boss.
I don't think okay.
Possible. I
No,
don't
there's
think.
Very,
nothing-
very classic
I don't
Jeff
think Navarro.
response.
I don't think the Navarro storyline's going away next week. I don't think it is.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay, where's Roxy's boy Eric?
Yeah, where is Eric?
Has he not healed yet?
Yeah,
It's
apparently
been
he's
over
not.
3 hours.
He's been in the mole.
He's been mentioned. Yeah, he's been in the
No,
mall.
I think that Kate finds him because she tracks the phone, but I don't think he calls her. I think she's been curious where he is, and so
Interesting.
she finds him, and he is not dead yet. And she,
Okay.
Just tweet at her.
So
That's a good point.
Anyway, we're running a little long here. So, do we have any news and gossip?
No,
we don't.
Except
Not
that it
this
wrapped
week.
yesterday. They wrapped shooting. What episode did they wrap shooting? We don't know. My assumption is
I'm
12,
guessing
but
it's
I
the
would
last
love for
one.
it to be more.
Hey, hopefully it's more. We'll see about that. So let's then
Give me
move.
more, give me
Let's move on
more.
to some predictions then.
I feel like we gave him throughout the
Everything I thought.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Roxy,
predictions.
you can never give too many predictions.
I am a wholehearted believer in that.
theories, yes, you have a ton of predictions.
Yeah. So, I mean, the main one is that the president is not dead.
Okay,
and
that's a new one.
But I'm also, like,
Yes.
positive about that, so that's not really a prediction. That's
Okay.
just me being smart.
We'll see next week. Is Roxy smart? Tune in next week to see if she's smart.
If he's dead, I am so, that's
She's just
salty
so-
for me. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Danny, what do you got?
I think both things I said. I don't think the president is dead, and I think that that Navarro is bad, and so is Cross. And I just want to know who the fish above them is. I think there's somebody above them on
But
the
you don't
ladder.
think it's Margot?
No, I don't think it's Margot. I do think they're connected though. I absolutely think Margot and Cross and Navarro are connected. We just haven't seen the link, and whoever it is will be the link.
Okay.
The
Whoever
Indian
we
girl?
see. So whether it's whether it's whether it is like the Russian guy or the prime minister or somebody way
Somebody.
up is the link, and maybe it's the blonde chick that was the prime minister's aide.
How dare you?
Maybe it's Mark.
I feel like the big fish we know already just because it is so late
Right.
to introduce a new
Yeah.
person, let alone like the key plot point. I already gave a fairly specific prediction regarding the glasses and the symbolism to that and communicating to
That
Chloe.
was badass. You're spot on.
Thank you. I just think there's no reason to take your glasses off if you're going to die.
Yeah.
you know,
I guess so.
Yeah, that's
Or
a
at
signal.
least take them off
Thank you.
before so somebody else can have them, you know? They're
I
gonna
guess
blow up
so.
anyway.
And like a memento, yeah. I think that Margot, you know, she just got to a new location. There's 6 guys left. I think she'll hand out 3 more final roses, and then the following week we'll find out who proposes.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you
That's
guys.
your show. That's your show, Danny. Comment on his Bachelorette.
I thought it was really funny.
Okay.
I'm
It was
excited about it. I had a comment.
Okay, I got one laugh. Great.
I'm going to disagree with you guys about this person above Cross being someone we know, because I could tell you even as far back as season 1, Dennis Hopper ended up being the big bad guy at the end, and we didn't see him till like the last 5 episodes itself. So
It's
it's
true.
possible that the main bad guy could be someone. And you know what? It would be really awesome
There's
if
somebody
it
from
was,
another season.
Well, somebody from another season. But I was going to say,
Cutthroat.
if it was a celebrity, if it was like a big known person like Dennis Hopper was
That
for
they kept,
season
like,
1.
way undercover.
Yeah, they kept
Like a
undercover.
Meryl
Like they
Streep?
didn't, like they hid them in filming, so they didn't want anyone to know.
Yeah.
Like a Meryl Streep, like a Sylvester Stallone. I don't know, Schwarzenegger. I
Oh,
don't
Daniel
know.
Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, if they found somebody really big to do it, and
You
they did
guys
stunt
are.
casting.
I mean, you call me crazy with my predictions. This is very over the top.
You think that's crazy?
Meryl
No,
Streep?
No, he said
I think Meryl Streep.
He said Meryl Streep, and I
No,
went
I
with
think
it.
it's Willow Smith.
Will
no,
Smith.
I'm kidding.
I think it would be awesome if they. I mean, look, Dennis Hopper's not A-lister like some of those people, but I think it'd be really awesome if they had somebody like a character actor
Maria
that we
Menounos.
know. If she does it all, and we can have her up
Jack
against
Bauer
Kate.
is the next Supreme.
Maria Menounos is the ultimate bad person,
Celebrity
and we get to
showdown,
see
yes.
celebrity showdown. We see her fight it off with Kate and Jack. Mano a mano a mano.
That's a great
root
way to
for
end this episode. That is a great way to end this episode.
Okay, Danny, where can we find
You
you?
can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danny Hoyt.
Yeah, Roxy, go for it.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to save you for last again, but go for it.
You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Also on everywhere. I'm Chef Masters 1.
And you can find me on everywhere, apparently, too, at Nando Vel, Nandovel. You can find us all on various AfterBuzz shows as well.
Cloud.
I'm right after this on The
Tune in.
Bachelorette.
And yeah, Bachelorette for you. I'm going to be on
That's so
Defiance in a
late.
week. So yeah, tune in next week for another exciting episode of 24 Live Another Day.
Love you, Mom.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Boom.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.